Welcome to Empress Justice Daily, where we are doing a pick a card in celebration of the Mother of Dragons comet that will be most visible and closest to the sun on the 21st of April 2024. That's tomorrow on Sunday as I'm filming this. It's the 20th of April. Now, when I was doing a deep dive into this comet and the symbolism surrounding it, what I got was a lot more than I bargained for. So on top of doing this pick a card, I am also going to be doing a general reading surrounding the Mother of Dragons comet, also known as the Devil's Comet. I am going to be doing a relatively deep dive into that. It's not going to be that deep, but I am going to be going into detail about why this comet is important and what it heralds and how the situation will be utilized by the collective. Now, I will go into a little bit of that today before we start the pick a card. You should have already made your selections. They're basically the same selections from yesterday. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. You should have already made your selection from the promo, but if you haven't yet, you still have time to make your choices while I talk about these cards right here, okay? Now, truth be told, right, with these Thoth Tarot cards that I both got the moon card for both of them. Now, this is not something that I chose. These cards were completely chosen at random. In fact, this card was chosen at random and this card fell out. So the moon card, which is usually associated with the depths of the soul, is usually associated with the night. It's also associated with unconscious drives and energetic drives, okay? Now, what I mean by that is, for example, I want you to look at this card, all right? At the bottom of this card, we have these lines right here that are representative of brain waves, EEG tests, right? So these brain waves down below, they represent the brain frequencies that we send out when we have specific emotions. This is very intense. This is very intense. I'm going to need you to bear with me, okay? Ultimately, what we are seeing here, what we're going to be seeing with this event, with the Mother of Dragons comet, both before and after it's come and gone, we may see an increase in outside technologies manipulating EEG to cause induced mania. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the Danielle Johnson video that I posted, where I talked about this technology that could potentially be used to incite mania. I feel like more of that will occur. I feel like it will become more of a widespread thing. If you haven't checked out the Danielle Johnson case by now, go and check it out. But it talks about EEG and our brainwaves basically being manipulated in order to elicit specific emotions. First, by tuning in with whatever our brain frequencies are emitting, and then manipulating them once the connection has been made. Now, inducing mania, they can have many different results to it. Among those different results are incredibly lucid dreams. Because with mania, the thing that you'll notice about mania is that it will bring about a lot of lucid dreaming. When your mind cannot be trusted, when your brain is malfunctioning, as a survival mechanism, it will load your mind with symbolism and imagery in a bid to protect you. Now, because you're mentally ill, or you have mania, or you've had induced mania, it will not give you the clear picture, or you won't be able to logically make sense of the visions that you have. You will be most likely to take them literally rather than reading between the lines or understanding how your emotions are processing the dream. That's what tends to happen when mania is induced. Your dreams become more lucid, they become more symbolic, they become less literal. You may end up even having visions that have nothing to do with you, or that are a 6 degrees of separation type deal, where you're dreaming about somebody close to you who's actually going through the things that you're intuiting. So EEG manipulation, it will lead to outbreaks of mania during this time. So it's a time period that we really have to be careful with. And I know it's a really intense thing to start with because we're just starting a fucking reading. But that is what I see happening. Not, you know, I mean, it was happening before the comet, or rather during, because the visibility of the comet started around the 31st of March. And it's still ongoing, right? So, yeah, mania has been induced around this time. Now, without artificially induced mania, even without that, the comet would have heralded a time of incredible change anyway, and a time of uneasy change. Okay, so yeah, it's a very intense time we're looking at. But I want to go into some notes that I've written about these cards, okay? And these notes are as follows. So the notes that I've made are ultimately the moon cards are about the journey into the subconscious and the depths of the soul. There's going to be a lot of that as artificial mania is synthesized. A lot of us are going to be more intuitively knowledgeable, but there's going to be a lot of complexities wrapped up within that intuitive knowledge. And I just explained that when somebody's in a state of mania, they tend to be more intuitively powerful, but that's basically the body protecting itself or the body defending itself. That's what the body tends to do. It goes into emergency mode. And that's basically what those psychic visions are when we have mental illnesses or we have mania. Now I want to talk a little bit about another symbolism that we can see here, the drops of blood coming down. That's Iod. It reminds me, it reminds me of not necessarily Iod or God in this case, but it reminds me of a scene in Smallville where a blind lady was having dreams about Lex Luthor, and she saw when he touched her, she saw him in a white suit and saw him standing in a field and saw him with blood raining down on him, meaning he was the cause of all those deaths or of all that blood, right? So what I can see is war. And I don't know if it will be a bigger kind of war than we're used to, or if, the UK will be involved in that more than we usually are. Meaning, I don't know if the war will end up here or end up in the US. I don't know if it will reach our doorsteps. I feel like in the Western world, it will be more about civil war or civil discord rather than like ordinary war, like going over to somebody else's country. But I do see war coming. And I see a lot of destruction. And I can't believe I'm saying all this shit because, I'm supposed to not be scaremongering right now, but I do see war coming. And it's a holy war because the blood drops, Iod, it's a holy war. It's a war between religions. Okay, that's ultimately what we're going to be seeing after this time. Let me just sit with all this, because what I've just told you, like I said before, when I was doing the notes for this reading, I couldn't, because there are karmic consequences to me telling you something as intense as this, but the truth is the truth, innit? With this card right here, the Bloodstone card, it's advisory. Now, the reason why I've got the colors red and green on my spotlight right now is ultimately because these colors were basically teased from earlier this year. It was in January that I first got green and red. Okay. And what they represent is grounding, the grounding of heightened spiritual awareness in physical reality, like this card says. And it also talks about harnessing Earth's life force for regeneration. And that actually represents the dragon and the serpent. I will explain why in the other reading that I'm going to do tomorrow. I was going to do another essay today, but I'm going to do another reading tomorrow with regards to this. So this is about harnessing Earth's life force for regeneration, meaning getting out in nature, consulting nature, even consulting your pets, like spending time with pets. And then grounding heightened spiritual awareness in physical reality. That's going to become important too. Now, there's something that I forgot to do that I'm going to do right now before I begin picking the selections. So if you just bear with me, because there's something to do with Rahu that I want to talk to you guys about as well. And if I'm right, it could reflect something huge at this time of the Mother of Dragons comet. But yeah, now is a time of great change. It would have been a time of great change on its own. But there are people in this world who know the secrets of the occult and who use the secrets of the occult to manipulate everyone else around them, lead other people with their own blindness. And yeah, this is a really, really hard reading for me to do already, but it's like, whew, it's kind of understanding where those who make these picks, like where they fit in into this incredibly crazy time. It's, oh, okay, I just don't know. I'm at a loss here. I just don't know what to say, because when I started intuiting this reading and then doing the research on what was going on, I still can't make sense of it, even as I'm talking. But it's a huge event. It would have been a huge event on its own. But then there's going to be the manipulation of this energy, manipulation of people's energy to induce mania and maybe even panic. So it's important to ground yourself in nature. Ground yourself in nature as much as possible. I know that's rich coming from me because the sun is out and I'm not out. But ground yourself in nature as much as possible. And when it comes to your visions, ground your visions by paying attention to your emotions, because your emotions tend to be more truthful than your conceptual mind. Remember, if mania is being induced or emotional dysregulation is being induced, then you will have the psychic vision, but you won't necessarily understand what's going on if you simply try to use your cognitive mind. Your cognitive mind cannot be relied upon if it's being manipulated through the manipulation of your emotions. So you've got to pay attention to your emotions first, then pay attention to the feelings in your body. And in fact, the feelings in your body are going to be way more reliable than what's in your head. I want you guys to remember this. When you start having lucid dreams and start having intuitive visions, trust the sensation in your body. And then work your way upwards to your conceptual mind. So start with your body, then see what your body does, what actions your body engages in, and then come up to your feelings, how you feel, and then come up into your cognitive mind. Start from the bottom upwards. Do you remember when I said that the key to your Rahu is channeling your key to? Your key to is your bodily forces, and then your Rahu is your mind. Okay? And collectively at the moment, we have a Rahu in Pisces and Ketu in Virgo. So I'm just going to have a look at this and see where Rahu is. Okay. It looks like it's still in Revati. So Rahu is still in Revati and Ketu is in Hasta. So it's important to, thank God Ketu is in Hasta, because it is important to ground yourself through actual work, and not only actual work, but methodical work as well. That's another way in which you ground yourself and ground your reality. So nature, engaging in work, like to the highest possible standard, these things are going to be absolutely crucial to keeping your intuition in check and to keep your relationship with your intuition in check. So yeah, it's going to be a very intense time after the, and we got to consider the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is also taking place on the 21st over here in the UK. So this time is no joke. I was going to do it today because at the time of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, it's going to be at like 3:27 in the morning or something like that over here in the UK. So I was going to do the essay like tonight, but I don't know. I think I'm going to do the reading tomorrow. I'm going to do the reading for all 12 signs tomorrow with regards to not only the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction, but the Mother of Dragons comet, or the Devil's comet, because they're actually all connected. This was prophesized by myself, Empress Justice, back in January. All of this was prophesized and I didn't even know. Okay. So, yeah, a very intense time. I hope you guys have made your selection. If you haven't run screaming in terror, if you guys haven't run screaming in terror, I hope you stayed around for the reading that is about to take place, because now I'm going to get into the piles, all right? So let's just take this away. Let's read the cards now. So I'm going to read pile 1, all right? Let's get all these other cards out the way. So, pile 1, let's see what we can get for you. We're doing tarot and oracle cards of various kinds today. So the first card we've got for you is the 6 of Cups with the 6 and 7 of Cups. Got the Hierophant. We've got the 4 of Wands. We have got the last quarter moon in Cancer. Take a breather. We have got Shungite, electromagnetic protection. Oh my God. Okay. We've got creativity. We have got the 6 of Swords. We have got the Strength card. And we have got Let Love In. So pile 1, those are your cards. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the oracle cards from the tarot cards. I'm going to read the tarot cards first for you, okay? So let's see what we can get from these 5 cards right here. What's the overall vibe that I can get from these cards? Well, the overall vibe is, in spite of a really chaotic time, I feel like your world is a little bit on the small side. What I mean by that is that whilst the world around you is going to be quite dramatic, your internal world will be quite mundane. It will be very calm. It will be very, not peaceful, but there will be a lot of emphasis more on mundane work, more on day-to-day life, less on spirituality. So I feel like pile 1, you may escape a lot of the madness that is surrounding you. Simply because so much of your world is small. You're focusing on smaller matters, which is the best thing you can do right now. When it comes to this, I feel like, yes, you do revisit the past, but the past that you revisit, it has more of a personal quality to it. It's not so much the past that, affects your overall role in this life. It's more of a past situation that, you know, it feels personal to you. It's more personal to you. It's more about healing your inner child or reconnecting with your inner child than putting the world to rights. Again, wise. So you've got the Hierophant. School. I'm getting school. Some of you have gone back to school or gone back to learning, and it panned out really, really well. Not necessarily in the results of your work, but just in the way that you've handled yourself. And I feel like as a result of some of the studies that you guys have done, I feel like there are really good times ahead for you. In fact, yeah, I see a lot of positivity with regards to this. I see you gently taking steps forward from what you've learned. It feels like you've returned to the past in terms of formal education, and now you're taking small steps, but they're light steps, they're happy steps. This in particular is usually about manifestation, and it's usually about contentment on a smaller scale. So I feel like your world is happier. You've healed, unwittingly, you've healed some past issues with yourself. Okay. And with this card in particular, this is also good because this isn't just about physical strength. It's not even just about love on a huge scale, like having love for others. It's also about letting your freak flag fly. I feel like there are some of you who are less self-conscious as a result of what you've been through so far. You're less self-conscious. You're actually kinder because you're less self-conscious. And instead of trying to be perfect for people you don't like, you're simply focused on being kind to people who do. So in spite of all the craziness of this world, it's, you know, you're doing so well. Like in terms of your solo journey, you're doing really well at the moment, Pile One. You're doing beautifully. And yeah, you're taking small steps towards evolving yourself, towards moving into a more positive space. So I do love this for you. I love this for you. I love that you're basically doing what you're supposed to be doing. Love that for you. All right, so now we come to the advisory portion of your reading. And that's right here. So we've got the last quarter moon in Cancer. And this is about taking a breather. I actually agree. If you get a last quarter moon in Cancer, this is an invitation for you to luxuriate. I love it for you. This is an invitation for you to luxuriate, for you to enjoy the spoils of your work. Like, it's not as if you don't have work to do, but you can take a break. You can take a break. You don't have to go full tilt with anything, okay? With this right here, okay, I'm gonna leave it up here. If you want to pause it to look at it, you can pause it to look at it, Part 1. But now I'm going to read it. So I'm going to take it off the screen to read it. So what we've got here are, when it comes to the physical qualities, I don't normally read the physical qualities, but I'm going to read them. Provides antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and antioxidant protection. Balances and restores bioenergetic field. This is going to be important for the EEG stuff that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading for everybody. Absorbs radiation and shields from EMF exposure, purifies water, can reverse physical dysfunction and chronic illness. The emotional qualities are balancing out the electromagnetic field to vitalize, heal, and bring harmony to emotional and mental disturbances. Provides a sense of well-being and positivity, shields against emotional abuse, and absorbs emotional negativity. So whilst you're very peaceful and you're minding your business and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, there are going to be people around you who are not doing so well. Like I said before, the moon, the double moon card with the Tough Tarot, For everyone, it brings a sense of mania, and some of it induced mania. So you're going to deal with people who cannot mind their business when it comes to you. You're over here chilling, you're over here doing your thing, and they're just like, well, why do they get to relax? Why do they get to be? And you're like, they're like, why do you get to relax? Why do you get to be at peace with yourself? And you're like, hey, calm the fuck down, all right? So, yeah, you're having to deal with some very obsessed people. But again, the thing about it, Pile One, is that it's not entirely them. It's created. Part of it is created. So instead of taking it personally, what you have to do is try to shield yourself and remove yourself from as much of the negative energy as possible. Again, like I explained to everybody, spending time in nature is going to be important. I've recently begun turning off my phone at night. That might help as well. Like just basic stuff, like turning off your phone when you sleep, turning off your Wi-Fi when you go to bed. That type of stuff, like simple stuff, can make a lot of difference. And getting out in nature more. Okay, getting out in nature, eating more natural foods. All of these things will have a more positive effect on you. Now, you're already very grounded and you're already very settled. But this will help it along. And this will help you to deal with people who are not necessarily stable in a calm and reasonable manner and in a way that protects you. Now, with regards to this, it's wonderful that you are actually grounding yourself in reality, Pile One. It's wonderful that you're not allowing illusions to take a hold of you, but you still have your imagination and it needs a place to go. And the wonderful thing about you, Pile One, is that your emotional energy, it feels more creative than manic. So that you're going to have a lot of ideas, and it's like you need to have a place to put it. Now, when it comes to these visualizations or daydreams that you're having, you can do multiple things with it. You can create a piece of work with it. You can apply it to your life. You can apply it to your work, find a new way to work efficiently. There are multiple things you can do with the imagination that you have. And I feel like it's important for you to explore those options. Like, turn your inward imagination into outward expression, because you have it. You still have it, like everybody else does. It's just a matter of you channeling it into something and taking more of a risk, being a bit more bold. Okay? Now, this is interesting. Pink, let love in. Whilst you are wonderful and grounded, I feel like some of you might become a bit too cynical. And I feel like it's good to be realistic about things, but you don't want to be too realistic. I feel like you need to connect with your dreams again. Connect with what truly gives you joy, what excites you. That's what I mean by let love in. I don't necessarily mean romance, although truth be told, why should that be ruled out? It's about what excites you. As long as it doesn't harm anyone else, as long as everybody's at the party, as long as everyone's safe, then I don't see why you shouldn't go for what truly excites you and what truly gives you joy. And I feel like that's where you need to place the emotional energy. That's where you need to place that rich, abundant emotional energy that this comet will bring. You need to place it into something you enjoy. And that's where you need to place your methodical way of working, all that. You need to channel it into love. All right? So that was for Pile One. I love you guys. Peace and blessings. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. If it resonates with you, let me know. If it didn't, well, you can just chuck it out. Okay? I love you guys so much. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye, my darlings. Okay, pile 2 now. All right, so let's see what cards we've got for you. We have the High Priestess card leading into the Empress card. Moon and Sun. This is pretty significant. We have the Star card, Sun, Moon, and the Star. I'm there already. We've got the Four of Swords. Okay. We have Full Moon in Taurus, Detoxify. Yeah, got that for you. Lots of richness. We've got Divine Consciousness. We have got White Howlite. We have got the Prince of Swords. You're not going to believe this. We got the High Priestess again. And we have got, finally, Red, Free Yourself from Pain. So before I get into separate sections of this reading, let me see what I can get here. What I'm seeing is that there is going to be revelations of secret information that you were previously, that you previously weren't privy to. There's some secret knowledge that you're going to discover that's going to unlock everything for you, and your entire life is going to change based on the information that you discover. Now, it could be from a book, it can be from a magazine, or even it could be from another person, but there's a deep well of psychic information or occult information, spiritual information, or otherwise secret or confidential information that could change the entire trajectory of your life. Now, I've got to talk about these 3 cards right here, because all of these right here is about connections to the inner soul and justifying the intuition of the inner soul by researching the talking points surrounding it. That's basically what I've done. But I feel like part 2, you're going to do this as well. There's secret information that you discover that you're going to really intensely research, and the stuff that you find out could absolutely blow your mind. And it could change your life forever. Now, with regards to this is a good thing because it can help you find your power, right? I get vibes of, even though this is about Alanis Morissette, I actually get vibes of Sarah from The Craft. I get vibes of you realizing your power and you actually realizing, like, I belong in certain spaces. I'm more powerful than I thought. I have more going on than I thought. The only thing that I would say for you, part 2, is you might attract a lot of jealousy because you're able to make things happen that a lot of other people can't make happen. I see some of you are resting. I see some of you are taking a break, which is good. It's what you need to do. But with this, I feel like some of you are overindulging too much. You are receiving abundant blessings when it comes to food, when it comes to material comforts, but you might need to slow down because you might be overindulging at this time. But then again, an increase in emotionality can bring that out in quite a few people. When it comes to this card right here, let me have a look at it. You see, this leads into this. Like, I spoke to everyone about putting your spirituality first, but it seems like with you need to kind of do the opposite. You need to reward yourself more emotionally than materially. It's like you need to work physically, but reward yourself emotionally. Like, that's how you maintain a healthy balance in your life. Because this right here, it represents that out of alignment. It represents working extremely hard and then overindulging yourself. Like, so you're in this kind of dualistic experience right now, pile 2, that you need to really watch. You need to watch it. And with red, free yourself from pain. I feel like this is to do with your root chakra or your physical body. I feel like you're not actually in pain, but it's like you might be stagnant physically, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the tarot from the advisory cards, and then we're going to go deeper into it, okay? So let's see. Pile 2. So with these cards right here, your world is changing, but it's like what's happening is that it's changing from the inside out rather than from the outside in. The change of your perspective, and again, the discovery of previously unknown information, is actually transforming your environment without you actually doing anything, because you're transforming your reality passively through gaining knowledge, and you're making the impossible possible through gaining knowledge, and you're growing something important. You're growing something important in your life. You're growing wealth, you're growing abundance in your life by doing like actually very little towards it. It's just through you gaining knowledge that, you know, it's changing the cells in your DNA, and that's basically influencing your actions, or like all this type of stuff. It's like, it's a domino effect. You're filling your mind with this knowledge, and it's changing your unconscious behavior, which changes your environment, sort of thing. That's what's happening. And the type of things that you thought were impossible to be able to accomplish, like I said before, you're making that shit happen. And you're making that shit happen from a place of rest. That's the thing that blows my mind. You're making this happen from a place of rest. You're not actually making this happen from a place of constant grinding and constant hustling. You are passively making huge changes, and you're passively realizing your power. It's one of those things that sometimes the more resistant you are towards gaining any kind of spiritual and material power, sometimes the more reluctant you are, is sometimes the more you actually receive it. Because it's like, you know, sometimes our resistance can reveal to us exactly what we're meant to be heading towards. And it's one of those situations, part 2. So, yeah, this is a transformative time for you. But again, it's from a place of passivity rather than activity. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for the tarot portion. Yeah, so that's it. And then we're going to go into the advisory side of things. And it's about, it's about the advisory side of things. So with this, I already said, you need to chill out on the material abundance. Reward yourself emotionally, not physically, because physically is rather shallow and it doesn't really offer anything. With this, spirit is speaking directly to you. But if you are overindulging, you're not going to hear what's being said. And you need to be able to hear what's being said. Okay. Now I'm going to read from White Howlite. If you want to pause this, you can, just to read the card. But I'm going to actually read it for myself. So I'm going to take it off screen and I'm going to read it. Okay. Now, with physical qualities, we've got opens the sky chakra to white light healing. So that's this, right? Spirit speaking directly to you. Strengthens and heals one physical structure, or core physical structure, rather. Knits bone fractures, heals muscles, tendons, teeth, fingernails, and toenails. Supports calcium absorption and slows bone degeneration. And of the emotional qualities, we have calming, cooling, absorbs and clears negativity, brings emotional balance, softens anger and emotional turmoil, quiets the mind, relieves insomnia, brings perspective, inner peace, patience, and soothing. Now, right here, I start to see why you're overindulging. It's because you're worried that your spiritual connection might be making you feel a bit crazy and you want to ground yourself. Okay? But with this now, this is saying that overindulging is not the answer, because it's actually just making your body more stressed out. And if your body's stressed out, then your mind is not far behind. So instead of overindulging, what you need to do is you need to actually, like I said, emotionally reward yourself. That's A. B, physical work or physical routine is a good thing to get into, especially exercise. That will release some of your emotions. Now, you want to do enough exercise that you're just a tiny bit sweaty and out of breath. You don't want to overdo it, all right? Because overdoing it is another part of overindulgence. It's just going over the top. So your body needs rest, okay? Your body needs rest. And I think you know that. And I think you're doing the best you can to rest. But your perception of what rest is needs to change. Because when you're eating, your body is active. Even if it's passively active, it's still active. Like when you're eating, your body is active. When you're drinking, your body is active, because your organs have to go to work to process everything. So you're still being active even when you're eating. Do you understand what I mean? And, you know, that still creates a certain amount of stress on the body. So like, give it as much rest as you can. I'm not saying don't eat. I'm just saying that it's one example where we are still working our bodies and we don't realize we're doing it. So it's like we have to give our bodies proper rest. Do you understand what I mean? Like proper rest, like not the type of rest that we're told is rest. You know, so yeah, you do need to give your body enough time to breathe so you can truly connect with spirit, because, you know, because your power is something. Your power is something else right now, and your intuition is something else, and you need to listen to that, because your intuition is about to prophesize some real powerful shit going down in your life, and you need to be receptive enough to accept the message. Pile 2. Very exciting time for you. So yeah, that was pile 2. And yeah, I've been Empress Justice. Take care of yourself. Peace and blessings, and thanks for joining me. Bye bye, my darlings. Pile 3 now. So let's see what cards we've got for you, okay? So the first card we've got for you is the 9 of coins. Off to a good start already. We've got the World card. We've got the Chariot. We've got New Moon in Aries. Now, I know that's an omen. It's a good one, but that's definitely an omen. We've got Yellow Tiger Eye. We've got Visualization. You've got 10 of Cups. Definitely liking this. Got the Hermit. And we've got Have Fun with Your Inner Child. My God. Listen, when I pick these cards, I pick these cards blind. So I wasn't expecting that. Because when I got this card, it reminded me of my inner child. It reminded me of my own inner child when I got that card. And as soon as I put that card down, it says have fun with your inner child. That means something. And with the new moon in Aries, you have to remember, during the time of the comet, the sun is in Ashwini, which is in Aries. And Ashwini is the eternal child. It is the eternal youth. Shatabisha is the other one. Like, it's eternal youth. That's what Ashwini actually is, right? Frozen in time, in a way. You know, frozen in time, but in a way that's natural and not restricted. So it's not so much frozen in time as moving in time. It's you're moving forward, 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 but you're moving forward without really changing. I think pile 3, you are extremely determined. You're extremely determined and you have a lot of focus. I feel like you are focusing when it comes to your career. And with this, you're alone, but you're not lonely. Some of you need emotional support, but because you know how to get it by yourself and you know how to get it, you know how to get just enough to keep yourself going, it's coming to a point where you don't feel lonely at all. You don't feel lonely. You feel satisfied emotionally with the company that you have, regardless of whether it's with other people or yourself. And I feel like a big reason for that is because you're so focused on what you actually want to do and what you actually want to experience. And that focus is bringing about really beneficial stuff, like on a smaller level, but it's bringing beneficial stuff into your life. Not just emotionally, but materially as well. I feel like you are both materially blessed and emotionally blessed. I feel like spirit is giving you material blessings and you are giving yourself emotional blessings, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. And when it comes to this, you are utilizing what you have. You're using what you got to get what you want. And yeah, it's leading you to a lot of interesting places, meeting a lot of interesting people, and this will continue. And what I really feel is that pile 3, you need to just keep going with whatever it is that you're doing, because clearly it's working. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the tarot cards from the oracle cards. So we're going to look into your situation and then we're going to look into the advisory portion, okay? So, pile 3. 9 of coins, world, chariot or conqueror, hermit, and the 10 of cups. Baby, you're living good right now. Like, in spite of all the craziness going on around you, pile 3, you're actually living relatively well. You're doing brilliantly at this point. I feel like there's a balance that's being observed. Like there's a cosmic balance that you're observing, that you're honoring. And I feel like that's the reason why you're being brought so many blessings, is because you're honoring not only the cosmos, but you're honoring spirit itself. There are ancestors and guides that have been telling you what to do. Like some of you have ancestors and guides that have been telling you, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And you have been listening. And this is exactly why you're having so many blessings come through in your life. Like whichever deities you've been praying to and whichever ancestors you've been praying to, if you have heard their voice, and if you have heard their voice, that means you've been listening to what they've been saying and you've actually heeded them. So you're enjoying a really good time of relative wealth and relative happiness. And this is regardless, again, of whether you are on your own or not. Although pile 3, I do suspect that you're on your own, but you're loving it. You are loving it. So I feel like you're actually doing everything that you're supposed to be doing at the moment. And I don't know how useful the advisory portion will be to you, but we'll see anyway. Oh, I see a big organization. Some of you, pile 3, have a big organization taking you on board. And you're going to be representing yourselves, some of you, but you're going to more than hold your own because you have so much expertise to offer. And some of you may even be in the position where you know a lot more than the people who are enlisting your help, or the people who are your superiors. You might find that you have a lot more knowledge than they do, in work, in business. You know, those things there. Like, you have a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge than they do. And the only advice that I will give you is try not to surpass them in public. Like, just try to be humble about it and try not to be like, oh, I know this, I know this, I know that. Okay, just keep quiet. Like, let your actions speak for themselves, okay? And let the reaction of the public speak for themselves. In fact, if you own a business, or if you are self-employed, or even if you're working and you have to interact with people, let the people speak. Don't speak for yourself. Do you understand what I mean? Don't show your knowledge through your own words. Show it through how satisfied other people are. Show the people who are superior to you why you're valuable. Like, show them why you're valuable. Don't show them why you're smart. Do you understand what I mean? But yeah, you're moving on you're moving up. You're definitely moving up. Yeah, you're gonna do a lot of important work. And yeah, it's gonna lead you to great, you're gonna gain a lot of great power as a result of it. You might meet some very, very powerful people and befriend them. That's what I see for you, pile 3. Now, I've got to get into your advisory portion, okay? So, got the new moon in Aries. Go for it. Yes, go for it. Got visualization. We've got yellow tiger eye. And we've got have fun with your inner child. Like I said, I feel like these two are connected. But let's get into, in fact, all of them are connected. What the fuck am I talking about? Let's get into this, all right? So, with this card right here, like I said before, whatever it is that you're doing, you're supposed to do. The only thing that I get for you, pile 3, is that you are focused, you are driven, you are knowledgeable. You're basically like, you're basically killing the game right now. And this is basically telling me that whatever it is that you're doing, keep doing it. Okay? When it comes to this now, we've got imagination, focus, experience, and manifestation. Again, this is not advisory. I can't call this advisory because you're already doing this. You've got experience here, which is connected to the World card and the Hermit card. And you've got imagination, which is connected to your inner child. The only advice that I could possibly give you is to connect more with your inner child and have more fun with whatever it is that you're doing. That's the only real advice I can give you, pile 3. Okay? So we've got yellow tiger eye, willpower. Now you can pause to have a look at this card, okay? But I'm going to take it off screen now and I'm going to read all the qualities of this crystal, okay? So, with physical qualities, we've got brings physical strength, connects with earth energy to provide grounding, strengthens activity in soft tissue, stomach, liver, pancreas, and spleen, calms and strengthens the physical and subtle nervous system, treats issues in the spinal column. And then for emotional qualities, we've got offers protection, supports personal empowerment, willpower, courage, self-confidence, and mental focus. Stabilizes mood fluctuations, protects from emotional manipulation or personal attacks. Can be used with issues related to borderline personality disorder. Boy. So yeah. It feels like in order to supplement the drive, the focus, and the will you have, it might be time to strengthen your physical body and strengthen your audacity. I can't believe I said that. You got to strengthen your audacity, baby. You got to strengthen your physical body and your audacity. That's what you need to do. Okay? Act like you're like, maybe when it comes to your superiors, you don't have to act like you know everything or like, but when it comes to your peers, act like you're the shit. Okay? Act like you're the shit. Like, this is how you should handle it, right? When it comes to your authority figures, you shouldn't bow to them, but you shouldn't try to make yourself appear smarter than you are. When it comes to your peers, confidence is key, audacity is key, but also make them feel special. Okay, so that's what you do. You need physical strength and plenty of bluster, plenty of it. Like, lay it on, okay? And with watermelon, this is going to be the key to your confidence and even your physical strength. When you connect with your inner child and find out what your inner child likes to do, you can incorporate some kind of strength training and some kind of confidence tricks into that. So for example, you might like to dance. Maybe when you dance, you can put weights on your ankles or your wrists, or, you know, you can do some stretches before you dance, like Pilates. Pilates is dance based. It's got yoga plus ballet, if I'm not mistaken. All right. But it's important to revolve building your strength around your joy. That's going to be absolutely crucial, because when you do that, it gives you that added layer of being unfuckwithable by anybody. And Ashwini is really good at that, actually. It's really good at building its own strength to protect its inner child. And that's something that pile 3, I feel like you maybe need to do. Do you understand what I mean? But other than that, you're on your way. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Like, I have nothing negative to say about your about your reading, honestly. I'm pleasantly surprised because, you know, it was such an intense start to the reading. I had my doubts, but I feel like, yeah, your reading is really positive and I'm really happy for you. So keep doing what you're doing, but build your strength and build your joy. Building those things together, unstoppable. I guarantee it. All right. So that was for pile 3. I will see you guys in the next reading. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye, my darlings. Pile 4. Okay, let's see what cards we've got for you. So, we have the Wheel. No, the Hermit. Tell a lie, you've got the Hermit. We've got the Tower. We've got the 6 of Wands. We've got the New Moon in Libra. Interesting. We've got White Moonstone. We've got Self-Expression. We've got Ace of Cups. We've got the Hanged Man. And we've got Attract a Relationship. Oh my. Hold on a second. Now, I didn't put the cards to the phone. My apologies, I didn't do that. I'll do that in a second or in a few minutes. But for now, I want to have a look at these cards together and give you guys an overview of what I see. Pile 4. I see that you might have the trickiest time of all the piles. I feel like you are having your vulnerabilities poked at. And I feel like because of that, it's bringing up some feelings of anger in you. But at the same time, the anger that you're feeling, it's not enough to sabotage you. The anger that you have inside you, it doesn't give... You know, it doesn't provoke any type of self-sabotage on your part. It's a type of anger that sits there, but it's like you transmute it and you turn it into something powerful. That's what you do. That's what you're able to do. And it's really good. It's really good for you. What I get is some of you might be feeling underappreciated though, because when I look at Nancy, I see the star that never was. I see a representation of Saturn. It was somebody that could have been a star, Could have been. Could have been. But they just weren't able to gather enough pull. But that's exactly why, when it comes to a satanic remedy, often this is really, really important, because it gravitates people to you, enough people to you to turn you into a star. When you decide to placate naysayers, you know, not bow to them, but placate them, it actually smooths the path towards your success. And I feel like that's where your vulnerability is. It's actually not in pleasing other people, but I feel like your vulnerability is actually helping you, and it's not hindering you when it comes to other people. I feel like your vulnerability, you allowing yourself to be imperfect, you allowing yourself to take other people's advice, you allowing your environment to shape you, instead of actually harming your cause or harming your case, it's actually helping your case. Do you understand what I mean? That's where Nancy fell down. You know, she could have had a perfect opportunity to let her need to be the leader go and let somebody else lead. She could have had a happier life, but she didn't want a happier life. She wanted power. But that's not what I see for you. I see you actually embracing, you know, maybe playing second fiddle to someone else, or maybe playing second fiddle to, because you know your worth, and you know your worth can't be determined by who people choose to cast their eyes on. You're not that way inclined, pile 4. So it's like, even though you have anger as a result of the pain that you've gone through, again, because you have an enlightened sense of who you are, and you know your worth, you know that worth is not determined by you being head honcho. You don't care like that. You really don't care like that. And because of that, it feels like you're avoiding pissing people off. You're avoiding trouble rather than causing it. And it feels like, even though you don't love being alone, even though you're not crazy about it, you're actually utilizing the alone time to build your strength and to also build your purpose. Okay? You're building your purpose. You're nurturing your purpose. And that's what's actually giving you strength to move through the world. I'm going to actually break this reading up in two now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into tarot cards, which is you, and the oracle cards, which is the advice that you're being given. Okay? Okie dokie. All right, darling. So, once again, we have the Hermit card for you. We have the Tower card. We have the Six of Wands. Oh, this is good. All right. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have the Hanged Man. What I get for you, pile 4, is that even when you lose, you win. Like I said before, you kind of allowing yourself to be vulnerable and staying out of conflict is paying off. It's paying off in a big way. But there's still some anger left over from past mistreatment. And you're not entirely sure where to place that anger. And I feel like that's exactly what's kind of, yeah, that's what's bothering you. It's like, it's not necessarily that you're angry, because you're not bothered about being angry. You're more bothered about the fact that you have nowhere to place your anger. You've got all this anger from the past. Where are you going to put it? Because you can't put it with the people who actually caused you that pain. Because technically speaking, because it happened in the past, the people who brought that anger out in you, the people who caused you that trauma, even if they haven't changed from the past, the person who hurt you still does not exist. They don't exist. Okay? They don't exist anymore, because the past moment is gone. So now you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to take my anger out on people who exist now, So how do I transmute that anger from the past and turn it into something I can use? Well, an easy way to do that is to fight for causes that you believe in. And not only to fight for causes that you believe in, but to be a quiet soldier for that endeavor, meaning doing work behind the scenes and letting somebody else lead and learning as much as you can about what goes on behind the scenes before you actually like do anything to take up the mantle for yourself. So that is one way in which you can release your anger, like really act towards something that you believe in and that you know to be true. Like just yeah, do it that way. And also creativity is another avenue, and I'm going to explore that in a minute. But yeah, it feels like your vulnerability is helping you win, and it's because of that that's kind of making you question how to use your anger. Because if my anger isn't working and my vulnerability is what people like, then how can I use my anger? It's got to be used somewhere, and I've just told you. So if that's what takes your fancy, then you know what to do. Yeah, you're going through a lot at the moment, but there are positive moments in your life too at this time, which is really, really good. So what else can I say? I see somebody dressed in white. I feel like the reason why you're having the trickiest time is because you're the most spiritually in tune. That's why you're having a harder time, because you're the most spiritually in tune. And some of you might be espousing truths that other people aren't ready for. I know I probably am right now, so I can relate. You're espousing truths right now that other people might not be able to process. It's not a wise thing to do, but I can't see it backfiring. Like I said, you're angry, but not to the point of self-sabotage. I feel like that's it for your tarot portion, but yeah, that's what I get for you. So yeah, let's see what we can get from your advisory cards. So what we've got here is the new moon in Libra. We've got the white moonstone. We've got self-expression, and we've got attracting a relationship. Oh, that's beautiful. I feel like Rose and new moon in Libra are connected. You don't have to be alone if you don't want to. You really don't. If you want to work with some type of like manifestation work in order to attract love, then do it. Why shouldn't you? I feel like if you want love, you should have it. Now, it involves a certain level of forgiveness for the past that you've been through, and it involves levels of self-control, because true love is about dignity. You know, attracting relationships is ultimately about dignity. So forgiveness and self-control are going to be important. But I feel like you're not angry enough to be out of control, or to not love yourself, or to not forgive others. You're not that angry. So I feel like you can have the love that you want and the love that you're looking for. The only thing that I would say to you is, I say this every single time in every single reading when it comes to romantic relationships: do not get caught up in what you think that looks like. How do you want to feel in your friendships, in your romantic relationships, with your family? How do you want to feel? That's what's going to be important. And whatever you want to feel in those relationships, whatever love feels like for you, that is what you should work to attract. Work on your relationships that are already existing. And if they're not good enough for you, focus on what love feels like for you. Like, focus on what healthy love feels like. Pay attention to your body. Work from your body upwards. Start with the body, then with your physical actions, what love feels like, then your emotions, and then your conceptual mind. Like, work from the ground up. Like, key to energy being channeled into the brain, because the brain is already doing the work for you, thinking and basically organizing all other parts of the body, right? It's already doing what it needs to do. That's why in alchemy, in order to rebalance ourselves, we have to focus on our bodies first. And when it comes to manifesting love, that's what you need to focus on, how it feels physically, how it feels, you know, when you act on love, how it feels when you feel love, how it feels when you are mentally conceiving it. So it starts from the ground upwards rather than the top down. So paying attention to your bodily sensations is going to be really important when it comes to manifesting what you want. Now, when it comes to, before I move on, it might be worthwhile working on your physical aesthetic. I'm just saying, it might be worthwhile working on your physical aesthetic too. Yeah, let's get on to the White Moonstone. So the White Moonstone is about feminine mystery. Now you can pause to read for this card if you wish. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it away from the screen and I'm going to read it, okay? So what we've got is, for physical qualities, enhances feminine energy in the subtle and physical bodies, supports hormonal balance, pregnancy discomfort and other feminine health issues, calms infections, fever and wounds, supports bones, tendons and muscle health. Emotional qualities, connects with the goddess spirit, feminine energy and mystery of the universe, deeply calming and expansive, brings insight into far-seeing abilities, and opens the, I don't know what that is, because it cuts off at the end. That's atrocious, bro. I'm gonna gotta get the booklet out. My goodness. But given what this card has already been saying, it seems like focusing on more feminine stuff, like, I don't know, like paying... First of all, right, let me preface this by saying that femininity is about joy, first and foremost. It's about being as happy as possible. But the way in which people perceive femininity, because once again, we're dealing with this, is to make it look like you're having fun, but not actually having fun. So the appearance of femininity, rather than femininity's reality, is a performance. It's theater, right? So what I'm seeing is you need to incorporate more theater in your personal life, like more aesthetic, thinking about costuming, how that reflects your emotions and what you're feeling, how that reflects what you want to feel. That's a very important part in attracting the love you're looking for, like dressing the part, okay, and looking the part. When it comes to your skin, your hair, everything, like looking the part. And I know it seems like, not only does it seem a bit rich coming from me, because you've seen how I look on camera, but it also, yeah, it's a bit rich coming from me, but it invites the kind of love that you're looking for, using feng shui for your home and using like color therapy for your clothes and your, you know, if you're a woman or a femme, makeup, like all that type of stuff, you know, even if you're a guy, and using like color therapy and all kinds of stuff for your surroundings, feng shui for your surroundings, like creating pieces that reinforce you being able to attract love and attract relationships. That's going to be important. Do you understand what I mean? Which leads me nicely to this, because the theater, the performance of femininity, should ultimately be a clever form of self-expression. Now, the world expects you to perform a very narrow and standardized form of femininity. that can be used as sort of a capsule or like a core tenet of your theater, but it doesn't actually have to be the theater that you perform, because once again, it's about the kind of love you want to bring into your life. Now let's have a look at this. We've got vocalization, individuality, inner voice, and assertiveness. Basically, it's about putting on a more refined version of yourself, one that actually allows you to be in love and stay in love and to have fulfilling relationships. Now, with Rose, attract a relationship, I feel like I need to preface this by saying when it comes to the rose, roses are among the highest frequency plants on the planet. The frequency that roses emit are the highest frequencies, among the highest frequencies on the planet. So it is ultimately about emitting high frequencies as well, like putting yourself in a space of calm, relaxation, you know, softness. Do you understand what I mean? In order to attract the relationship that you're looking for. But you do need to like consider attracting more love in your life. And you know exactly how to do it. Again, work from your body up. What type of love do you want to feel? Express that love through your aesthetic choices. Yeah. So, let's see if I can get anything else for pile 4. No, I think that's it. I think, yeah, that's it for pile 4. I have been Empress Justice. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If it resonated with you, let me know. Yeah. Peace and blessings, you guys. Bye-bye.